We will call the meeting to order for February 3rd, 2026. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. The first order of business will be the approval of the minutes.
Second.
We have first and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Approval of order of agenda.
Here,
Yes, sir.
agenda, I would like to switch item number 7 and 8, with 8 up to number 7, 7 down to number 8.
We'll just flip flop them. Sounds good.
I'll second.
All right. Do we have any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right. The approval of the consent agenda. Did that just get louder? Bills, employee status changes, overtime, and then beer and liquor licenses for the Larimore Golf Club.
Moved.
Madam Chair, I'll second that motion.
All right. Sounds good. We have a first and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right, we have citizen comments, and I think, right, this is the only one? Just one? All right, Mr. Krausnick?
Real short this time. Is it green or red?
Green. Green for Bill.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks,
No, we're not the city, go ahead.
it's actually, that was my first point of business here was actually, I mean, I wasn't planning on speaking. I try to get to every meeting now that has anything on the menu about tax incentives. So I wanted to come and observe, but I thought I might as well speak for a few minutes. So the main reason why I'm here is to thank you guys. This is a much different venue than the city. We appreciate it. It's not just me, but other people appreciate coming here and speaking. I'm shaking a little bit right now because I'm always nervous speaking, but you go over there and it's a snake pit. Like there's a reason why people don't speak. They get cut off. They sit down and they feel like they're going to be painted negatively or disparaged at times. You can't disagree respectfully and be treated with respect at all times. So you guys do that. All 5 of you respect people, and I appreciate that, and a lot of people really appreciate that. So that's the main reason why I wanted to get up. Then as far as like tax incentives, I was reading through the agenda, and I appreciate the fact that I'm not here to speak in favor or against this tax incentive, but I appreciate the fact that you have primary sector certification included in there. So the business has gone through that qualification, which should be a non-negotiable. And then I saw the policy metrics. I spoke with Commissioner Bierke to find out that that was an old policy, or that's a policy you guys have had in place for a long time for anything that comes through the county, not through the city. But he also informed me you guys are working on new policy then to have here for the county. So I look forward to seeing that, and I hope that I can and other citizens can be a part of that process. Again, appreciate all you guys. Big thing is, we're not always going to agree on things, so we're not going to agree with all of your votes. And I'm never going to be up here to publicly call you guys out, but we do, I think, deserve answers when they relate to votes. So if you're going to vote no or vote yes, if we ask why, I hope that we could have the answer. So I would like from the 3 of you that changed your mind on the Brookstone pilot. There was no new information from one vote to the next. It was for a 20-year pilot, moderate income-based housing. They were going to get federal and state funding. No new facts or publicly available facts from one meeting to the next. If you changed your mind for any certain reason, I mean, it's understandable. There's no right or wrong answer, but I would just like, and other folks too, would like a public answer as to why the change. So hopefully we can get that tonight. But again, the main reason why I decided to get up is to say thank you, because it's not enjoyable speaking at the other places. And here, I know you guys actually respect us when we're speaking. So it is really appreciated. So thank you.
Just do a quick shout out and reminder to turn on your mics too when you're speaking.
We good? All right. All right, we've got the compatible use study presentation.
Green. Madam Chair, Commissioners, appreciate the the time and opportunity to present the Grand Forks Air Force Base Compatible Use Study overview tonight. I'm Casey Bartholomew with Matrix Design Group, the third-party consultant that was selected to, I guess, coordinate and execute this study. If you could go ahead one, please. I'm not going to read the purpose of the study to you, but it is to essentially identify compatibility issues that could impact the long-term sustainability of not only the Air Force mission on Grand Forks Air Force Base, but also support regional development initiatives that are compatible with the mission. Next, please. What is a compatible use study and what it is not? It is federally funded out of the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation Installation Readiness Grant Program. But I do want to stress that it is community-led. So it is not the federal government leading this effort. Grand Forks County is the grantee and the sponsor of the grant. So I did want to stress the fact that it is a community-led effort despite being federally funded. The end state is to have a report and an actionable strategy that not only identifies but prioritizes compatibility and development actions that can be taken, and also document, communication processes. And what I mean by that is a communication strategy or a not, I don't want to say checklist, but a collaborative communication strategy amongst the various stakeholders. I alluded to this already, but it is not a directive or mandate. So while it does provide an action plan in the end, it's not a directive. It's not a regulatory document. It is recommendations. And it is not all, the study itself is not a compliance exercise or inspection that is kind of grounded in, regulation or enforceable actions. The project scope, these are the general lines of effort, and you'll see these on the next slide where I kind of lay out the project roadmap and way ahead. We did do an advisory committee kickoff meeting yesterday with stakeholders from city, county, and various other agencies on the advisory committee. It is a data-driven assessment. So as you'll see, and again, I'm kind of fast forwarding to the next chart, but as you'll see on the roadmap, the discovery and analysis phase is up front. And I would argue is one of the most important phases because it'll look at existing plans and it'll take existing data to kind of kick off the study. There will be public engagement along the way. And again, I'll touch on this on the roadmap, but we should have a website up by the end of the month, kind of outlining the scope and what a compatible use study is, some of the things I just mentioned, as well as opportunities for the public to engage along the way. And I mentioned it already as well. It's recommendations and an implementation strategy, as well as an executive summary that comes at the end. Unique to this compatible use study will be a tabletop exercise. Sometimes those are only considered in military installation readiness reviews, but there will be a tabletop exercise that is developed kind of, I guess, midway through and executed towards the end of the study, and you'll see that on the roadmap. And I alluded to the communication coordination manual. That is essentially like identifying all the stakeholders that are touched during execution of the study and how can communication, as it relates to development initiatives, can be better or more coordinated. So if you go to the final one, I mentioned a lot of things on here already. We did an advisory committee kickoff yesterday. We anticipate, and let me back up. I should mention this entire process is collaborative. So while we lay out this roadmap as it stands today, this will likely change over the course of the study, which is scheduled to be 1 year in duration, starting on 1 January, going through 31 December of 2026. So We had an advisory committee kickoff yesterday. Right now, anticipate an in-progress review, kind of halfway through, to provide the committee an update, and then a final deliverables review towards the end. I mentioned the data collection and analysis. That'll be the main effort over the next few months. And on the public outreach, I mentioned the website, hopefully by the end of the month, and then various touch points along the way. So I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that provided a kind of general scope and overview of the way ahead for the study, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Madam Chair, Mr. Bartholomew, can you give a background on yourself for the group? I mean, I know what you were, but it's really a good background. I think everybody needs to know. So
Absolutely, Commissioner. So I'm a Grand Forks native. I grew up here, graduated from Central High School. Following that, went to the Air Force Academy. And after graduating from there, not thinking at the time it would be a career, made a career out of the Air Force for 24 and a half years and retired out of Davis-Monthan Air Force Base as a mission support group commander there just over a year ago. And at which time I joined Matrix Design Group. And I would say on our project team, we collectively have over 75 years of Air Force active duty experience. So we kind of tout that as a strength going into these. And yeah, frankly, I'm excited to be part of the team.
This one more from Ms. Link. Can you email me a copy of who's on the working group and advisory committee, a list of both those? Can you?
Absolutely. We have
Okay.
the advisory committee now, and
When do you get, if it's not done?
absolutely.
Understand. Okay.
And we're still kind of filling out the working group
Okay.
members.
And the second question I had for you then is, on this peer community site visit, have you determined who our peer community is, just out of curiosity?
We have not. We have some options. Some of those consider Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, Fort Huachuca in Arizona, which I'm very familiar with, spending my last 2 years on active duty at Davis-Monthan, which is kind of a adjacent community, I would say, to Tucson. And Nellis Air Force Base is also considered based on kind of I'll say the remotely piloted missions that are going out of Creech. So there's some considered, and we're still working through that because per the OLDCC coordinator, it's deliberately kind of after the discovery and analysis because there may be issues that don't directly align with those kind of initial thought communities. So the idea is once some of the compatibility issues are identified, finding maybe the right peer community that face similar issues where lessons learned can be, obtained.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions for Mr. Bartholomew? Excuse me. All right, I think we're good.
Thank you.
Oh. Very confused for a second. All right. All right, property tax incentive.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Before I start, I just want to introduce Mr. John Walters and Scott Tinsman, who are here all the way from Iowa, representing Twin State Environmental, and you'll hear from them later. And then we have, as you know, Keith Lund and Kevin Hatcher from the EDC, who have been helping with this project as well. With the presentation tonight, Madam Chair, I won't be asking for any action from the board, but we'll be asking for the board to set a public hearing and final action during the March 3rd County Commission meeting, and I'll circle back to that. But Total Trans Care LLC is applying for a new and expanding business property tax incentive. They're applying on behalf of Twin State Environmental LLC. And we'll touch on that in a moment. And they're requesting a 5-year declining tax incentive to support a proposed $3.6 million development project. You'll hear from Mr. Walters and Tinsman in a little bit. You'll hear more about their company and their product. But Twin State Environmental is leasing 5 acres of land from Total Trans Care Inc. It would be a 20-year lease. So it's a land lease with the intent to develop a rail car cleaning facility. It's a pretty impressive program. Located north of Grand Forks, so for reference point, it'd be in between the Northern Plains rail pad and the Northdale oil plant. So north of Grand Forks in that Northern Plains rail area. They are certified primary sector, which is good. And among just initial staff review, looking at the existing county policy, it does meet the criteria to advance. Ms. Wamsit in her office will still be reviewing, but it does meet the county policy at review. The schedule per county policy, because they qualify 100%, 80%, 60%, 40%, 20% incentive at this point. They are investing quite a bit of capital upfront to build this project and to pull utilities to the site. They don't exist. And they must also, part of their deal with Northern Plains is to use Grand Forks companies and products and employees in the development. So with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Kevin Hatcher from the EDC, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the project, and then he'll be introducing Mr. Walters and Tidman.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Madam Chair, members of the commission, Kevin Hatcher, Business Development Manager at the Grand Forks Region EDC, speaking on behalf of the project opportunity presented in front of you. Mr. Ford covered it very well, actually, on the project as a whole. I think related to the timeline, I would just wanted to speak concurrently what we're actively doing right now on behalf of the EDC board as well. So this Thursday, we are presenting this property tax exemption request to review in support on behalf of the board, along with a PACE application request through the due diligence process through the city of Grand Forks as well. So, but in this instance, this is specifically for the 5-year declining that Mr. Ford has represented. Additionally, as he noted, was the county's policy scoring metrics. Reason we had behind of presenting this in front of you for the project. For the 5-year declining, it did meet over that 100-point threshold. So presenting not only an outstanding, exciting opportunity for primary sector business, but to continue to diversify and grow the rail industry in working complementary to the agricultural sector as well. So like we were talking about with primary sector, yes, they did receive the certification. The big thing about the certification, there's a few things that's fascinating about the company as a whole. Twin State Inc. is the parent company that's Iowa-based that's been operating for almost 70 years. Family-owned business looking to expand one of the arms of their business of this Raptor cleaning solution under Twin State Environmental. A few things that's interesting about it. It eliminates human entry into rail car tanks for cleaning operations for the tank cars. It's using a new technology of a robotics arm to clean these tank cars. But really what solidifies the primary sector status is the recovering of any remaining oil that's typically traditionally used as waste. Rather than having it categorized as waste, it's being cleaned and reintroduced back into the market. So you're seeing oils such as ethanol, vegetable oil, crude oil, asphalt, being able to get back into the market rather than getting waste from the environment. So I think with that being said, what we can do is we can turn it over to Mr. Walters and Mr. Tinsman here for them to cover the full presentation on the project opportunity here. So thank you. Oh, yes, I got that. Thank you.
We appreciate your time. We'll kind of tag team it a little bit here too. So if that's all right with you, we'll put the presentation up. But one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to share with you a little bit about the company. We've worked very exclusively with Kevin and Keith behind us as well too. So they've been very, very helpful with everything that we've been able to do. But we also look at this as something that might be new to you as well too. So one of the things that we want to do is kind of present who we are as a company, what the problem is, or maybe you can even look at it from the opportunity that we're looking at, the solution, the business, the benefit, and then some of the next steps. And so all throughout this presentation, you'll just see more of kind of the value that we bring to this. First and foremost, the mission and goal of Twin State Environmental is really growing relationships resulting in best served customers. So we're really dedicated in providing superior experiences to our customers, to the communities such as Grand Forks, and to our employees too. So we see that as very, very important in what we're trying to do. Next slide also goes through who we are. So if you want to look at, so Scott's grandfather and his brother actually started the company in 1958. Started off as a chemical manufacturer, and it continues to be a family-owned business as well too. There's over 500 full-time employees, and then this is the point in time where we start kind of looking at some of the seasonal employees that we employ as well too. Down below, you can see the 5 different arms that Twin State has. Liquid Grow is the fertilizer side of the business. There's also a grain storage and marketing side. Twin State, the environmental, the foresight is what we represent right here. And then there's also Twin State Technical, which is right in the middle. That's a lot of website development, networking, that sort of thing. And then there's also an investment side of it that's over on the far right-hand side of your presentation here as well. But as we jump into the problem that we are trying to solve, we're looking at it from the next slide. And if you look at it, a visual sometimes tells a lot of the story behind what we are trying to do. So there's a tremendous amount of what you call heel in a rail car that builds up over time based on what is being shipped. And on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see a lot of that residue that builds up inside a tanker car. Gross. It reduces the amount of shipping weight and volume that can go into a rail car. And so that has to be periodically removed by that too. Typically speaking, as Kevin mentioned just a minute ago, you've got somebody that goes in with a pressure washer, gets rid of all of that, and spends multiple days inside a rail car trying to get rid of that. On the right-hand side, and we'll go into more of what it takes in order to get rid of that heel. On the right-hand side is what it looks like after the Raptor cleaning system goes through and cleans out one of those tanker cars. So it cleans out all of that residue, gets rid of it. We recycle what was in there, and then we return the car back clean and ready for the next purpose. So that's just a visual of what you're seeing. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve. The next slide also begins to go into the solution of that. So then the next slide that you'll see here goes into a lot of the industry challenges that we've got. I'll let Scott come up and he can talk a little bit more about some of those and then what we're planning to do with it.
Yeah, thanks so much. You probably didn't realize you're gonna have to learn about car washes, but I wish it was quite as good as the ones that pop up around town to clean cars. But really what we're trying to do is eliminate people entering those rail cars, right? If you're getting there with crude oil or asphalt, right, there's hazards, you can have fatalities. We have a robot, it can clean a rail car in minutes. On the Northern Plains rail facility where Cypress Rail is right now, not only is our rail car cleaning system going to help bring in business to clean and recover, oils that can be recaptured and resold in the marketplace. It's also going to help the repair shop do more repairs because you can't work on a rail car until the KMI is cleaned out of it. It's also going to help the local businesses get more rail car switches, which is more fees. So there's a lot of intangibles that we don't cover as economic value brought through this, but we're going to show you really what we're trying to do specifically with the Raptor and just our own individual business, but eliminating human entry and error, offering that automated wash and, offering these closed loop systems so we don't generate waste. We're not hooked up to city sewer. Another thing that is going to city sewer, it all goes out in rail cars or trucks. I know that's always one of the questions. And we'll also answer why North Dakota and why we're asking for help. So we can go ahead on the next slide. you can kind of see there's what it looks like in a rail car. It's a nozzle that just kind of goes back and forth, side to side, kind of looks like what would be used to de-ice airplanes. It's going to spray or recirculate solution through a rail car. We typically use only about 200 to 300 gallons of fresh water per rail car. So not very much, not big water use, not impacting any city utilities. Going on to the next slide here. We're going to show you what the business is so we can keep going. Here's our facility. We have a few facilities. There's kind of two different areas of business. One is we go across the country building car washes for rail cars for companies. So all those rail cars you see rolling around through the United States, those are probably cleaned at rail car repair shops with our technology. Then we also use our own technology to offer the service. So that's what we do in Durant, Iowa. And then that is also what we do in Richardton, North Dakota, which is an operation we just opened a few months ago. Now, for that application or for that project, we did not ask for any help, but the development cost here in Grand Forks is a lot higher due to the lack of infrastructure. So that's why we're here asking for some assistance. We normally wouldn't without if we didn't need it. So we'll keep going on to the next slide here. So what's our advantages? You know, you can see we're cleaning about 4 times faster than humans inside rail cars with buckets and shovels on micros, dirty jobs, right? We don't want that type of attention. So we're cleaning a lot faster, but we're also recovering that product so it can be resold. And also those products, if we go to the next slide, are shipping all through the different United States. So why are we primary sector? Well, one of the reasons was we're recapturing products for being, reintroduced to the marketplace. But number two, and probably even more importantly, is the rail cars that we're cleaning are originating out of state and out of country, from Canada, the canola oils, out of state, as you ship crudes from where they're being pumped to refineries. So the out-of-state market, right, rail cars are very transient. We're doing a lot of business from out of state, almost exclusively out of state business, which is bringing in sales tax dollars that aren't normally, that the state currently doesn't have access to. So what are we cleaning, and what is going through the state of North Dakota? Grain, crude oil, food products, chemicals, petroleum products. So yes to all of the above. If we go to the next slide here, why North Dakota? For a few reasons. Number one, North Dakota is more pro-business than other states. Number two, if you're going to talk about what commodities get cleaned more common than others, petroleum is one of them. You can see North Dakota produces 3 times, the 3rd highest producing state in the country for crude oil. They have 1 rail car wash facility, which is the one we just opened up. Yet Texas has 15. So you can see there's still a need just on crude oil alone, but you get a lot of canola oils. Anything that's an oil typically leaves bottoms, sludge in the bottom of rail cars, needs to be cleaned out just like your dishes. So we'll keep going. Why North Dakota? Why Grand Forks? So right in Grand Forks, you have a lot of rail cars moving through here. You already have an existing rail car operation. You already have existing railroads through Northern Plains. So we want to leverage those businesses, bring those synergies, because we're all stronger together than separate. So when we bring rail cars in, you get rail car switch fees and transactions through both BNSF and more jobs there, and Northern Plains, as well as more rail car repair jobs. So that's why North Dakota. We're planning, and there was a right now our project cost is actually about $5 to $6 million, so it's a little bit higher than the 3.6, but 50% of that is going to be done at the minimum with local companies. So bringing investment to try to get an operation running by September. By September of 2026. I guess if we go to the next slide, which we might be getting here to the end. Yep. So that's what we're trying to do. We're turning in the property tax exempt in the PACE application. Also, once we get up and running, we would turn in an automation tax credit. And we're using these to help make the economics. Our development cost in Richardton was about $3.2 million. You can see if we're at 5 to 6 for Grand Forks, quite a bit more of investment. That's why we're trying to make the economics work a little bit better in this location. So with that, I'll turn it over for questions. I appreciate everyone's time.
Do we have any questions for?
What is the ask?
The ask is, Madam Chair, Commissioner Rusted, so the ask today is not to take action on their application for a new and expanding business tax incentive application, but for the commission to set the required public hearing and the final action on March 3rd, which is required by Century Code. So the ask will be for the commission to make a decision on 3rd on their 5-year declining tax exemption.
Do we have the details of what that
Yes, sir.
declining,
Yeah, they're
like percentage wise?
Yeah, they were all included in the packet.
180, 60, 40, 20.
Yes, thank you. And since it's a 5-year, we do not have to go out to the other taxing entities because it's in the 5-year window.
So ours was easy. We're just here to present information.
That's right.
You guys can determine when we get the next date.
You had mentioned about, you get this question a lot with cleaning these rail cars and
Mhm.
what do you do with the stuff that's inside? And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said recycle, but that
Yeah.
can be interpreted in many different ways.
So
Expand on that.
95% of the products we clean are recycled and recovered versus, we do generate some waste. Where would that waste go? It probably would go as it would be a non-haz waste. We don't clean hazardous. It would go to, is it Sawyer, North Dakota, for a Clean Harbors landfill. So that's where the waste would go. The other 95%, what would those be? Is petroleum oils, corn oils, and whatnot. The petroleum oils are captured for their BTU values. They're sent down to Indiana, where they're burned at a cement kiln plant for energy to dry cement. The organic oils, fats, oils, and greases, canola oils, and whatnot, those are captured and sent out to be make biodiesel.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Cindy.
I do have a question. You stated that it takes several days to be cleaned by an individual. With the automated system, how long does it take to clean a car?
Yep. Typically about 3 hours from start to finish with the push of a button.
Thank
And,
you.
Yeah, and I think on your guys' packet, we show that we're going to hire six employees with wages starting at or above $26 an hour. And another thing about Grand Forks is you guys have a lot of talented labor here, educated labor, which is a big selling point.
And just so that you know, in that packet too, at your leisure, there's a couple of videos that are embedded. So if you want to see the process, you can see that within the presentation too.
All right, do we have any other questions or?
I just have one question, and I don't know the legality of it. I read through your net income, et cetera. Would there be any way, if we approve this, they could pay extra taxes for the 5 years after to recoup?
I like Terry's math.
And so it would be a upfront assist to get going, but a payback at the end, so it would be a net nothing to the taxpayers?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Bierke, I would defer to Madam State's Attorney. That's never had that question posed, sir.
I'm shocked.
Your key members of the board, our office would have to look into that.
Okay, and so I'm Mr. Capitalist, so I have issue with these type of things, but I can promise you one thing: I'll never vote to raise your taxes. And so if we do this, if we did this, and because I was reading through your,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a reader, so I was looking at. So I think it's unbelievable. What a product! What an idea! It's outstanding. It's one of the best things I've seen here ever from the city or county stuff as far as a business. But
So
if
should we just stop right there?
well, here's my thing is, well, it's just, it's a great idea. I mean, it's just fascinating to me.
There's not a but coming on.
But here's the issue. If it can be recouped at the end, then I think it's a question as a representative of the taxpayer I should ask. So if Mr. Ford, you could look into that, and or Ms. Momstead, whoever, don't want to take somebody's authority away, but I just think it's something that, because you are not asking for much, as opposed to usually most people come up there is a ton. And so is that a possibility? And so, and I'll just, I'll never bash you. This is just, I'm putting something out here. So I'm not going to step on you. That's not how I roll. So I just want you to know.
Thanks. Great.
Got all that, Haley? Good.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And do we need to formally like make a motion to set that
I'll move to set the hearing for March 3rd.
March 3rd at 4 o'clock.
I'll second.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right. Commissioner Bierke, MPO reappointment. You're going back.
I'm willing to serve if you want.
I move appointment of.
Wait. No one's fighting to take this?
I go to those meetings so you people can relax.
We really appreciate you,
Yeah.
Gary. All right, we have a first and a second. Did I hear that? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. I was really waiting for someone to oppose that.
That baton has to be passed.
All right, Mr. West.
Good afternoon, Commission. Good news. So we applied for the Flex Fund, but bad news, we didn't get any Flex Fund dollars. But on the positive side of things, we did get 3 prairie dog grants. And just for the board's awareness, so what the state legislature did is they reduced the traditional prairie dog program by about 60%. And then they created a grant program through that we submit applications, and then the DOT administers who gets the grants back. We got 3 of the 4 applications we applied for. So the Manville Avenue project, the County 17 project in conjunction with the city of Thompson, and then a County Road 5 flood protection project near Manville were selected for the prairie dog. Now, the biggest curveball with that program is if and when the prairie dog buckets fill. If they don't fill, I don't know what happens. If they do fill, well, then we got a project and away we go. If they don't, the state legislature has a history of changing those programs around just about every session, and how the money gets divvied out and split up between non-oil producing counties. So, in my opinion, we're kind of in a bit of a waiting game until those buckets fill. The biggest question is if we want to proceed with any preliminary design engineering up front. I have a few thoughts on that. I'm not asking for the board's decision. We have time on this and certainly can come back at a later meeting, but just to plant some ideas in the board's head, or not, just something to chew on, is Manville Avenue is 100% grant funded. So if we do anything up front, we're on our own. We know we're going to be on our own. We will be on our own. My recommendation on that one is just to wait and see what happens. Hopefully we get the money, kicks off the job, and they'll start the detailed engineering work, and we'll go from there. The County 17 project in Thompson, now that's a little bit different, where there's a tide project north of Highway 15. The city of Thompson got the same prairie dog grant. South of Highway 15, we got the grant, but the city of Thompson also has a significant portion in there too. In speaking with the city engineer there, the city of Thompson is proceeding with engineering now or soon in hopes that we get it. And so they're thinking that the buckets will fill this time next year, so they'll potentially have a project in 2026, or 2027, excuse me. I'm a little more reserved on that. I think at a minimum, we should wait until late summer or fall to see what's going on and just reevaluate then. Make a decision if the buckets are filling faster than we think or they've slowed up. The County Road 5 project, it's an 80-20 split. We would have 20% responsibility in that one as well. And it's 100% county. I think we should just wait, but it's up to the board if we want to proceed and roll that dice accordingly. So just for the board's awareness, there were 3 township applications submitted, one in Turtle River and Brenna. They did not get selected, but one in Pleasant View did. Any questions or thoughts?
Could we I'm fine waiting, maybe come back to first meeting in July.
Mhm.
That way, if there's anything, if it turns out that way, if there's still some stuff they can check out the long-eared bats, whatever else we got to do, we'd have time to do that before the snow falls. So we could get the project done as fast as possible. So how about an update, first commission meeting in July, where we're at with those projects? That's where I'm at.
Sure. I can do that. Okay. That is all I have.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ford.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you. Just real quick update on the tax incentive policy update. We'll be planning to bring a new policy through the March 17th County Commission meeting. Ms. Leon, Ms. Morstead, Ms. Walsh, and I, we redlined the current policy. Just for your background awareness, that policy was created in 2015. So it's definitely time for an update. But we've redlined it. I think we've pretty much have a good draft. So we'll look to finalize that and bring it to the March 17th County Commission meeting. The moving on to the courthouse, you're all aware of what happened to the courthouse yesterday, for 4 or 5 feet of water in the basement. But I want to, Madam Chair, if you'll allow me, I want to acknowledge Mr. Grishevsky and his team. They were all hands on deck. They did a phenomenal job. No one wants to get that phone call at 4 or 5 in the morning. So
I completely concur. And his solution to get the water out of there without pumping it outside was brilliant.
yes,
Going
sir.
through breaking a pipe and going through the sewer. I mean, it would have turned the entire downtown into the Blue Line Club
Yes,
if he
sir.
hadn't come up with a brilliant solution like that. So I thank you for acknowledging Bill, and my hat's off to him as well.
Yeah, no, I thank you, sir. And yeah, his crew has been working pretty hard. And I know no one wants to move wet old furniture out of 5 feet of cold water. So, and then just to keep things moving along, just a quick update. Miss Leon found out earlier today that we were approved for a courthouse improvement grant. So that'll be moving forward. The irony's not lost on me.
Chair Hagan, Mr. Ford.
Yes, sir.
Where was the break?
Oh, yes, sir. It was in the old yak. The old yak. In between. Yep. Right in between. Right. The wall in between. So
And so what caused it? Lack of heat or what?
if just frozen pipe is my understanding. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Do we need to put some sensors in there so that it gets, someone's notified before it gets that deep?
Yeah, Commissioner, Chairman, Madam Chair, Commissioner Bierke. Yeah, I mean, that's an idea. However, the issue is there's no internet, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no utilities in the basement. So you could have sensors in there, but they're.
Okay, I didn't know we didn't have anything.
Yes, sir.
So you have a drop in water pressure. That should trigger something. If it should have been a big drop in water pressure.
Mhm. I'll follow up with Mr. Gashevsky.
Yeah. Yeah, let him, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because we had that at the Ralph,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we flooded anytime. But yeah, as soon as you get that drop in water pressure, you know something's wrong.
I'll follow up. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I think I was talking with Bill about this, and I think that what we had was Murphy's Law just kicking us square in the you-know-whats. Because to have that volume of water, it almost had to have burst like Friday right after everybody left the building and just flooded the daylights out of it. So it sometimes Mother Nature's undefeated. So is Father Time. And both of those would have been an element in that old building.
Yes, sir. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right, Ms. Wamstead.
I don't really have any updates for the board other than our office is likewise very appreciative for Bill and all of the buildings and grounds crew. They had really ugly job yesterday, and we appreciate their work. There's still a lot of work to be done. A lot of it will fall on our staff just because the bulk of the stuff in the basement was our files. So it'll be a long
Do you
process.
have a plan for those items and what you're gonna do to potentially have to clean or keep those records, or what does that
We
look like?
do. We kind of established a matrix for to give our staff some guidelines as to what can go and what needs to be preserved. Bill and his staff are working on setting up some drying racks for us because we will need to be drying a lot of records. So we're thankful to have the old jail next door with a lot of space to spread out because we will be definitely using that in the next several weeks and months. So.
Shoot. All right. That's good to hear that there's a solution
Mhm.
and a way forward. So-
Madam Chair, Ms. Wamstead, most of that, the information or files that you had downstairs, they're all on film, aren't they? You haven't done that?
The court has a lot of records on microfiche. We do not have any. And the amount of records that are in our case management system varies based on the age of the file. So in the more recent years, most of the information is saved in our case management system, and our physical file is just a duplication of that.
Okay.
The older you get, the less data we have saved in our case management system, and the more reliant we are on the physical files. With that said, the older the case file is, the less likely that we would have to bring it up and need it for any future hearings. So
Okay, thank you.
kind of a balance, and that's why we've created kind of a complicated matrix for if this then that type scenario, so that we make sure we're preserving what's needed and not expending unnecessary time on stuff that we don't have to.
So is there a bunch of people with their fingers crossed that their files are on the lower shelves?
Well, any file that is in the basement, the disposition has already been reported to BCI and the FBI. So that ship's kind of sailed.
Figured there was a bunch of people doing heel clickers today.
Just a moment.
Good one, Bob.
Yeah, joke.
All right. Thank you. All right. Committee reports. Mr. Bierke, what do you have for us tonight?
Fair Board, right now we're working on the lease for River City Speedway, so they're finalizing that lease, and then we'll, I guess, enter negotiations with them. Last MPO meeting was nothing major, nothing's really changed from last. And then I'm gonna spend a little time here. For those of you who know, I went to the committee the whole week on Monday, and I went again last night, and I was thoroughly disgusted with the comments from Mr. Sandy concerning the Grand Forks County and this county commission, and he would not allow me to speak, so it's on now. So I want to go through what happened there. Number one, they did vote. The previous Monday, they had voted 5-1 in support of the project. Last night, they voted 7-0 to not to object to the project. So in essence, they went neutral. They didn't endorse any other thing. So they just basically said, which is fine with me. I don't know if anybody watched the first meeting on the Monday night at the Cow. Mr. Sandy asked me, and I point blank told him, I really don't care what he thinks. To me, it's a county and a DOT and airport authority, but the DOT wanted the city to take a position. So that's why I was pushing them. I mean, as a commission chair, I could care less. It's not in the city limits, but if the DOT says they have to say something, then they need to say something. And the vote of just not to object to the project is fine. They could have said that without all the side comments. And so I'm going to respond to those side comments now. It was totally inappropriate, in my opinion. And frankly, when I get to the end, just nothing but a bold-faced lie. Number one, and I'm going to compliment the Grand Forks Police Department chief. He's looking into making public events safer. great idea. We never know. Terrorism, some wackadoodle, whatever. So what he's talking about is increasing the amount of money spent in security. They currently budget $50,000 a year as a city, and they want to go up to 100, which, once again, outstanding idea. And then they got a discussion got into where that money's coming from. And that money, that money, the 50 and then eventually up to 100, is funded through sales tax, economic development portion of the city sales tax. And a comment was made on Mr. Sandy is that the county should help pay for these events because people in the county go there. So I am now going to give a very thorough briefing on how sales tax works because apparently he doesn't understand it. So here we go. Number one, there are 4 city sales taxes. And just so you know, they're looking at trying to get the 5th one, a 5th sales tax. So sales tax number 1, it's a 1% sales tax. It's from decades ago. Part of it goes to economic development. Part of it goes for infrastructure, and part of it goes for property tax relief. So when they say the sales tax through economic development pays that, that's where it's coming from. So if you live outside the city limits, every time you come in here and spend money here, obviously you're paying sales tax like anyone else is. So the residents of Grand Forks County, I'll call them the rural or other cities, are paying for the economic development, they're paying for infrastructure, roads, et cetera, and they're paying for property tax relief. So say theoretically a certain individual owned a house in the city of Grand Forks, his property tax bill is lower than it should be because they take that number, whatever that number might be, and they pay property tax items through sales tax revenue. So when you come from Gilby and pay that tax, you are in essence subsidizing the property tax system in Grand Forks. Okay, sales tax number 2. It's a 3/4 cent sales tax. That was the Alaris sales tax that was supposed to go away. And I won't name any individuals personally, but I know one guy who said a long time ago that sales tax would never go away. I think you know who that was. So part of that sales tax is now going to, well, was I right or wrong? Part of that sales tax is now going to the Alaris Center for capital improvements, and the rest of that sales tax revenue is going for their new pool turf facility. So when you come from Manville and spend money in Grand Forks, you're paying for a swimming pool, indoor pool, and you're paying for a turf facility every time you buy something. Sales tax number 3. Back in, I believe it was 2017, the unofficial motto of that campaign was make people pay their fair share. And they were directly referring to people who didn't live in the city limits of Grand Forks. That money, part of it goes for roads. So now we're paying for roads twice if you come from outside the limits. And the other part of the money is going to pay for water treatment plant. So if a certain individual happened to own a house and also has water, like the courthouse did, and you have a water bill, that bill is artificially lower than it should be because they're taking sales tax revenue to pay for the water treatment plant bills so that people who get water in town don't pay the full rate. So when you come from Johnstown and spend money in Grand Forks, you're paying for roads and you're paying for a water treatment plant for the citizens of this city. But wait, we're not done yet. Then we go to sales tax number 4, which is a 1/4 cent hospitality tax. So when somebody from Lamar comes to Grand Forks and goes to a bar, restaurant, or whatever, anything that's hospitality, you pay a 1/4 cent extra on those items. And once again, that money goes to make up any shortfalls in the Alaris Center operational fund or for capital improvements. So in summary, when you come from out of town and spend money in the city of Grand Forks, you're paying for economic development, you're paying for infrastructure, you're paying for property tax relief, you're paying for the Alaris Center, you're paying for the pool and turf facility, you're paying for roads, you're paying for a water treatment plant, and you're paying again for the Alaris. So let the record show, when the residents of Grand Forks County come into the city and pay sales tax, they're already paying enough. They're paying for those events, they're paying for roads, they're paying anything else I listed. So in case anyone's unclear here, there's no way I'm going to give the city a dime of county money. The taxpayers in this county already pay plenty when it comes to sales tax. I also might mention, anyone in this room want to guess how much money the city collects a year in sales tax revenue? Anyone take a guess? $34 million a year. Just so happens I had Ms. Morstead bring up, do you know how much we collect in property tax in a year, approximately? 34 million. So we collect 34 million in property tax, zip, zero, not a nil in sales tax. They collect $34 million in sales tax and all the property tax money on top of it. And they want us to help them? Get real. Now, point number two. Mr. West brought up the fact last year we had a great year, early spring, great summer, late fall, and we got all these projects done. And Mr. Sandy made comments about how that, well, maybe the county should give the city money for their roads too. Well, side note, stop for a minute. Sales tax number 1 and sales tax number 3 are already paying for the roads. But he wanted more money. I would think somebody who's been on council that long would understand how transportation projects work. You get dedicated money. When he gets money, it's for this bridge project or this or the bridges or the culverts or whatever. Just like if the city were to do say that NDDOT and the city were going to rehab the Sortie Bridge, and I'll just pick a number for $10 million, Mr. Ford and Mr. West aren't going to drive into Mr. Feena's office and say, hey, we need some extra road money. Can we have $1 million of that? After he gets off the floor from laughing so hard, he's going to inform them that money is for the Sortie Bridge project and the Sortie Bridge project alone. That's how transportation projects work. So to ask us to pay more money for roads, and might I also mention, when the people from, Niagara, that's for you, Miss Peach, when the people from Niagara come to town and they fill up their cars, they're paying a federal gas tax and a state gas tax. And if they go buy something, they're paying sales tax number 1, sales tax number 3, federal tax number 1, and state tax number 2 to fund projects that are being built in the city limits of Grand Forks. I think we're paying our fair share. Next point. A comment was made about when they went from 70, I'm a little fired up here in case you haven't noticed. When I-29 went up to 80, they went into 70 through the city. And he made a comment about how the county the county had nothing to do with that. This county never said anything about going down to 70. That was a state decided that. They didn't ask for our opinion. And frankly, you shouldn't have to because it's a federal state road. It's not a county road. So we did not in any way attempt to interfere with whatever the city wanted to do as far as speed limits. And oh no, I'm not done yet. And then at the end, and side note, the reason I'm doing this tonight is they wouldn't let me talk. Did I mention that? I'm getting old, starting to forget. So this could have been averted. I twice tried to, well, frankly, if you watched the meeting, even though the microphone wasn't there, you heard me. I tried twice to speak to address these issues, but I was not allowed. Let me state for the record, if any elected official from any entity comes to this board and wants to address something, I'll be the first one to say, let him talk or her talk. This is common decency and respect. All right, at the end, this absurd comment about the DOT and the county commission are conspiring, what's this, Tin Hat Tuesday? Are conspiring to get the city to pass a support of the roundabout so that when down the road it's proven the roundabout doesn't work, then we're going to blame the city. It's beyond absurd. Does anyone really think all 5 of us up here are going to vote for something knowing it's not going to work, and the DOT is going to approve a project that they know isn't going to work, and then 5 years after it's open, we're going to say, well, it was the city's fault for voting for it? Beyond belief. Beyond belief. So I just want to make it clear, we're paying our fair share. We're not in some little conspiracy where the county hires Bigfoot to guard the door so nobody comes in to listen to us in the DOT make our conniving schemes and plans. Those roundabouts work all over the country. And frankly, maybe if some of the council members would have spent a little more time reading the documents, they wouldn't have had so many questions. So that pretty well sums up my committee report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bierke. Miss Peach, do you have anything else to add?
No, Madam Chair, I don't have any comments to make, although the one of the comments that Commissioner Bierke spoke on was the roundabout. We've got to do something at that intersection. There have been way too many lives lost, and unfortunately, if nothing would happen, there could be more lives lost. When you have a roundabout, everybody has to go right. I don't think that that's making life any more difficult for people using that that road system. But for all the people that have lost lives, I think they'll be happy to know that we're trying to address something. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Peach. Mr. Rost.
It's kind of hard to beat Commissioner Bierke's. I get fired up too just listening to him. But anyway, I'm part of the enhancement, the matrix. We had that meeting yesterday, and I want to thank Gracie for putting together a committee that's well versed in it, community members, and I think it's going to go a long way to make things work for the Grand Forks Air Force Base and around. Tomorrow is Brick at 8 o'clock in the morning at the Hive. So other than that, that's it.
I've got nothing. I got a meeting coming up here with EDC. Other than that, nothing to report.
All right, and I don't have any additional news in my committee reports, but we'll move on to unfinished and new business. Let's see, where was the special assessment mill and overlay on South 4th Street, Bruce Diversion, and Gertrude. Is there any other additional information that I was supposed to add to that? I know that information's in our packets, but unless there's any other discussion that wants to be had.
No, ma'am, it's just a notification to the commission that we'll have a special assessment on property.
Okay.
Oh, so we paying for a road with city limits again?
Another thing.
Just wanted to make sure. And hey, we should pay special, no problem, but just want to point out, the road's getting fixed and we're paying our fair share.
Very good, yes. And then, of course, the correspondence for the Garrison Diversion Match Recreation Grant Program.
Move adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
First and second, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.